I think, firstly, I'm extremely happy and excited to be in conversation with you, and a huge congratulations on winning Big Boss 14.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I think having spent what 4 months without actually leaving the house and actually being in the house continuously for 4 months, what have you discovered the most about yourself as a person, which is
Yeah.
perhaps something you never really knew before?
Um, I've learned to embrace my failures without feeling ashamed. That was a great lesson that when you have to work on yourself, the very first thing is you have to embrace yourself, even if you're flawed. And that hesitation, that feeling of ashamed, being ashamed about, no, I don't want to talk about my shortcomings, about my mistakes that I do, but about, how incomplete I am. So that thing, it just really helped me overcome that fear, that shame, and it just helped me embrace myself the way I am.
Yeah, and actually, I wanted to ask you, obviously, when you went into the house, I mean, obviously, a lot of personal revelations happened to you when you were there, especially when Abhinav was there with you too.
Yes,
I mean, how prepared were you for that when you were actually
yes.
going in?
I was prepared to be honestly living my journey in Bigg Boss house. What that journey would reveal, I wasn't prepared for that because it is just that the house itself, um, it just opens up you in a very vulnerable side of yours, and you just cannot expect that what is coming next. So all I can say was I was honestly living the journey, and I was welcoming everything that was coming my way.
Right. Absolutely. And of course, like I think you were definitely strong. And I think Abhinav too was a great support to you in the house as well. I think it's the first time we saw a couple actually going in, which was
Yes.
quite an iconic I think move for Big Boss's part too. But had he not been there with you, um, how do you think things would have been different?
Mm, honestly, nothing would have been different because we are true, strong individuals. We have our own identities, our own opinions, our own take on life. So, if I, as an individual, I would not change my stance if it does not favor his, thought process, then I am the same with him or without him.
Hmm.
But on the other side, having a mental and emotional support in that house is so very, very, very important that had he not been in this journey with me, I would have had more of emotional breakdowns than ever.
Oh yeah, and I think it's great. I'm really glad you kind of were so open about accepting that, Rubina, because I mean I remember that task, which that Mudikai task that I think people that you housemates had to do before the first finale. You had to kind of like
Mm.
open up and see whose trauma was more sad, and I think that was so hard to do. And I think kudos goes to you housemates for doing that because I mean to judge someone by their trauma, I mean it was quite awful to do. So it must have been quite
Yes,
difficult as well for
yes,
you at
yes,
that
absolutely.
point. So what kind of kept you going at
It
that
was
point?
it was very, very difficult, but the only desire that I want to I want to somewhere connect to each and every person who's watching me then on a basic human emotion, which is living your life earnestly. And if that demands me opening up my life in front of people so that I'm able to share something with them, and it just connects on a basic level, was my was my entire thought process uh, behind bringing the worst, the best, the good, the ugly, because I stopped fearing the judgment. I just thought that maybe it may inspire someone. Maybe someone just gets motivated watching that. If I can go through this, if I can overcome, if I am working on it, and I see a beam of light across the tunnel, it may help someone in the same situation, or someone maybe in the same situation is looking out for help. Maybe my story can be the story of that person as well. So the intention was just to connect to each one who was watching me then on a human emotion.
Absolutely well said. And I think it's definitely something we all as humans need to do, is to communicate more and perhaps be encouraged to speak out and accept ourselves. And acceptance is a very key thing. But I think also I noticed quite a lot on the Weekend Ka Vaar episodes. A lot of the times आपके ऊपर नुक्स बहुत निकाले जाते थे. Like you were kind of rebuked almost every Weekend Ka Vaar. Why do you think this was the case? I mean, was there ever a time where you just felt like saying, "Oh my God, I didn't do anything. It's not me. Like, please let me be." Was there ever a time where you felt like just snapping and just letting it all out in any way?
I didn't feel like snapping, but I always had this question. I have not, matlab, this is not what I meant. This was not my intention. Why? And then I realized that through the way I operate, the principles and the level of expectations that I've set for my own self is what I am being tested and judged at. So I'll give you a very simple example. If a topper of a class, just gets 2 marks less in another exam, will be questioned. Why? How could you? But if a backbencher of or an average student who just manages to pass, there is a celebration in the house. So I would say that I kind of set the bar for myself so high that even if I would drop a little down, they would just tighten me up there only. So I see it as uh, every criticism, every challenge that was thrown on me, especially at that time where my intention was questioned, or when I was being, said, no, Rubina, this wasn't right here. This was, you could have been more open to the feedback. Who have the potential. I saw myself in that light, that Rubina, they expect certain things from you, and they are saying it so that you can improve your game. So take criticism in a positive stride. And trust me, had I not developed this attitude, I would have been stubborn in the approach, or I would have been detrimental for my own self.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it did get quite difficult as well for you at some point as well, because a lot of the housemates had accused you of having a superiority complex and being rather dominating. Um, Obviously, do you think that you were perhaps targeted because of the fact that you are a popular name, and the fact that you do have a big fan following too? Do you think that was also a part of the tactic as well to break you?
No, I think somewhere they sensed that I am strong and they cannot break me. That was the whole. I think that's my feeling, that when you see someone steady and strong in their thought process and in their opinions, that is what disturbs the others or perturbs their thought process. And hence, everybody wants to just bring you down. But they did not realize that in return, they are resolving my determination even further. I'm not going to break. You can't bring me down. So, in a way, they were, all the housemates, they were helping me unknowingly. They thought they are breaking me, but they actually made me even stronger. So,
Right. Yeah, I think definitely. And it's also nice that you had a rapport with people like Nikki, Ali as well. You had a very lovely relationship with Nikki and Ali too. So how do you hope that will continue now that that's
yes.
out, now that you're done with the show? How do you think that will kind of continue?
These are the two relationships that I really would continue working on them and building even further strong relationships, giving personal attention to it, and I would do my bit.
And obviously, I know you made it very clear as well that you would not actually keep grudges once the show is over, as well. And you were quite
Yes,
open in
yes,
ending whatever happened in Bigg Boss and left it there only. So
yes.
how do you think you'll cope though with those people that perhaps you didn't get on with in the house when, should the opportunity arise of you having to work with them? How do you think you'll cope with that?
Um, when I say that I have left everything behind, all the negativity, all the toxicity that had, developed through different interactions and relationships getting sour, uh, I mean that I have cleaned my slate. There is no expectation. There is no, any grudge or any feel of, I don't want to continue or I still don't see them in a good light. No, it's everything is just, it's a clean whiteboard. So if tomorrow I happen to bump into that person again, if we happen to work together, it'll be a fresh approach. And in that approach, if the person feels like rebuilding the connection again, I'm open for it. Wants to rephrase the entire situation again, I'm open for it. I am giving them the freedom and the space of being who they are and how they want to accept me in their lives again. Because who I was, I'm still the same. It's just that the bad things that have happened, I leave them behind.
Plus, I guess you can't really judge a person through Bigg Boss, right? Because the atmosphere, I mean, isn't exactly
Yes.
normal. I mean, I hate using the word normal nowadays because we don't even know the meaning of normal anymore. But I guess
We
it's
don't
really,
live in the new normal.
yeah, exactly. So the fact that you obviously can't really
Yeah,
judge them by the show as well. So I guess that must also give you some sort of like, I guess, a fresh approach as well in meeting these people, isn't it?
absolutely. That's correct.
Wonderful. Before you went into Bigg Boss, is you done a progressive role like Shakti. And I think it was such a wonderful role. And I think I really appreciated it in particular. I mean, would you be
Thank you.
keen on essaying more such progressive roles rather than just perhaps characters of a bahu, so to speak? In what way do you think Indian television can sort of support the LGBTQIA community with the way Shakti did?
I'm always of the opinion that, as an artist, we are blessed to portray journeys of real heroes in our societies, in our nation, so to say, who live a life of absolute silence, and there is no recognition to the struggles that they go through. So I believe those characters are the real characters, their struggles are the real ones, their challenges are what changes the mindset of the society. And as an artist, if I have the if I have the platform of doing it, narrating it, expressing that that particular aspect or that particular character, it's like a it's like a blessing also, where I'm able to uh, present a story which was untold. So
Mm,
such characters, I believe, they have to see the light of the day, and more progressive, because they are able to accept such type of concepts. And the greatest example was the success of my show,
mm,
Shakti.
right.
And I think our audience is now open enough, or maybe more accepting to experiment such roles on Indian television as well. They now have great acceptance for it. So I think television is being more liberal and is being more, opening their arms and welcoming such characters and giving actors the opportunity to portray such beautiful stories as well.
Right, absolutely. And also, I think looking back at your experience, I mean, what would you say? was something that you're definitely proud? I mean, except for winning, of course. I mean, I'm sure you're probably proud of winning the show, but I think besides that, what would be the one thing that you're proud of? And what would be the one thing that you kind of, I guess, think that could have been better? Not regret, but perhaps think that it could have been better.
Okay. I'm proud of my failures. I'm proud of my I'm proud of my every flaw that I have had, or I have been able to, build it in a way that would inspire or aspire people who are around me or people who watch me. I'm proud of my struggles. I'm proud of the problems that came my way. If that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have been the person I am today. And I'm proud of the journey that I've experienced and I'm still experiencing.
Hmm. Lovely. And is there anything that you wish that could have been better, or that perhaps might have disappointed you a little bit, maybe?
No, it just fits. I mean, I can't foresee, but when I look back and I connect the dots, I just feel that, everything was meant to happen in the same fashion and order. So I have no regrets.
Fabulous. Obviously, now that what do you think will change for you now after doing Bigg Boss? I mean, personally and professionally.
I am more free, vis-a-vis projecting myself fearlessly.
Hmm.
I have developed immense patience. I I have had a better understanding about the the truth and depth of our relationship, me and Abhinav's relationship, ways of working on it, and how a relationship cannot be taken for granted even for a single day. So,
Hmm.
this is the only relationship that needs effort at every given point in time,
Hmm.
because all the relationships, be it your family relationship, it's a blood relationship, it happens. Friends, it's a relationship that you build through your heart. But this relationship, it's a relationship with the soul. You pour your soul and two souls connect with each other. So this relationship is the most difficult, and it requires effort every single day. And making an effort in this relationship will ensure your own growth and the growth of your relationship and the other person. So this is the takeaway that I have gotten from my journey in Bigg Boss house.
Lovely. I think just to kind of summarize that, I think, and just as an extension to what I had just asked, I mean, obviously now that you have obviously done an emotionally taxing show like Bigg Boss, which is not easy for anyone, what else do you kind of see as a
Yeah.
challenge in life now? I mean, is there anything that you kind of feel very strong in accomplishing now?
There is a lot. I mean, the journey is yet not over. I will always be open to learn new things. And I never take this for granted, saying that, oh, I've done this, it is enough, I've achieved this. Never. For me, I've still not achieved. I've still not achieved. The journey is way too long. I want to pour in my heart and soul to everything that I get associated with. I want to keep myself open and learn with exact amount of zeal that I've always had. So for me, I will always be a student. I'm a
Yeah.
student of life, so I always say that, and I want to remain like that.
Exactly. I think that's exactly. You're not a shikshika, just to clarify, because that's all we've been hearing, like on the show with.
Yeah,
So I think that's so lovely to hear, Rubina. But I think it was honestly, I've been waiting actually since you had entered the house. I had been waiting to actually do this interview with you, and I'm just so glad that it's been
Thank
so
you.
fruitful. This wait has been so fruitful, and I'm really glad that
Thank
you've won the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.